Well, the final day of the NBA's regular season has come and gone, with some tantalizing first-round matchups now locked in place. The Eastern Conference, well, in a word, boring.
Boring!
In that there was no intrigue at all on this final day, with every seed line locked and wrapped up before the 15-game final slate was played out today. Aside from, of course, the play-in rounds. On the west side of the bracket, however, things were nowhere near as tidy, with the 4 through 7 seeds needing sorted out today. And the first curveball of the day came to us courtesy of Ime Udoka, who has sat his starters the last 2 games, but just prior to tip-off announced that he would not only be playing all of his starters, but that they would be getting their regular allotted minutes against, of course, the Denver Nuggets, who were themselves in a must-win game for the 4 seed. If the Nuggets would have lost this one, there was actually a chance Denver could have fallen all the way to the 7 seed and the play-in range. Yeah, so translation here, the Rockets were hunting the Nuggets. Beat them today as the 2 seed and play them possibly in the first round in that 2-7 matchup. But, well, Nikola Jokic and crew had other ideas, blowing the Rockets to pieces in this game, as they would be up by as many as 33 points in the fourth quarter and cruised to a 126-111 victory to somehow, someway, win 50 games this year. That despite Jamal Murray missing 16 games, Aaron Gordon missing 32, and even the very reliable Jokic, who has played in the second most games of any player league-wide since entering the NBA 10 years ago, while he himself missed 12. And this garbage heap of an organization just literally fired its head coach and general manager 6 days ago, but somehow they win 50 and clinch the 4 seed for home court advantage in the first round. Of course, that somehow is referring to Nikola Jokic and is a testament to arguably the greatest season ever played by him, who last game locked up his near 30-point triple-double average for the season on literal absurd shooting splits of 58% from the field and 41% from 3. More on his historical insanity later in the week, but the Nuggets, by virtue of today's win in their first round matchup, will now play host to the LA Clippers in the 4-5. The Clippers, who earned a crazy overtime victory against Golden State in San Francisco against the Warriors in a highly competitive back-and-forth overtime affair. And there is pretty much no way to slice this one other than the Curry and Butler duo, who both played well, were just outclassed by the tandem of Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. Harden, who hit massive consecutive threes in overtime, finished with 39 points and 10 assists, while Leonard added 33 points for the Clips, who again lock up the 5 seed and a first round date with the Nuggets that proves to be a pretty entertaining matchup in a tale of 2 teams moving in completely different directions, as the Los Angeles Clippers have won 8 straight now to end the season and 18 of their last 21 games overall, while the aforementioned dumpster fire Nuggets, well, they just fired their coach less than a week ago, that coming on the heels of 4 straight losses by them. The Clips' opponent today, meanwhile, the loss for the Dubs drops them into the 7 seed and a first game play-in matchup with the Grizzlies. And yeah, this one has to sting for the Warriors, who were just looking like they might get as high as the 3 or 4 seed like a week ago, that coming off a resurgent 2-month run following the Jimmy Butler trade deadline deal. The winner of that play-in game between Memphis and Golden State become the 7 seed and gets a first-round date with the Rockets. The loser, meanwhile, will face playoff elimination altogether against the winner of the 9-10 game. while the team that wins that one gets the honor of being dusted out of the playoffs in the first round by the Thunder. And that brings us to the Timberwolves, who beat the Jazz today, and by virtue of the Nuggets win against Houston, coupled with the Clippers win over Golden State, the Wolves will now be locked up in what amounts to a very tasty little 3-6 matchup with the LA Lakers. And you know Ant Edwards has been eyeing up a little shot at retribution for the humiliation he suffered last year in the Western Conference Finals at the hands of Luka Doncic, who at the time was with, of course, the Dallas Mavericks. The Wolves, who went into that series a fairly sizable favorite at the time after an emotional 7-game series win against the Nuggets, were gentlemanly swept out of the playoffs. And now, a year later, Ant and Luka will lock up in the playoffs again, this time in the first round, and this time coming along for the ride as a bus rider will be LeBron James in what is likely the most star-powered first-round matchup on the entire playoff slate. And virtually any team can win any of these first-round series in the West, aside from whatever sacrificial lamb is sent to slaughter on the Thunder's altar. Aside from that, though, the wild, wild West is as crazy as it has ever been. The East, meanwhile, well, again, in a single word, boring. Anything less than a pure Celtics-Cavalier chalk walk into the East Finals would be an absolutely shocking turn of events. But the West, captivating us while the East puts us all to sleep, is nothing new. Of course, we still have to plod our way through the play-in tournament next week, so make sure you click that subscribe button to stay up to date with more from me as we head into the playoffs. Until next time, guys.